Hello, everybody. Welcome to What's Cooking SoCal. It's been a few weeks since we've done our show, and today we have a special guest. I hope you guys are tuning in. We have Nayeli Ballesteros, a financial expert that's going to go on the show today, and hopefully we can get you guys some great information, and I'll see you guys in a few. Everybody, thank you for joining us on What's Cooking SoCal. Before anything, we like to give you guys a mortgage quick update on where we're at. I've been talking about this for months on how inflation has been just getting out of control in our country. Everything's been going up, gas prices, milk, everything, as you guys all know. And finally, we started seeing the government actually admitting that there's inflation. For the longest time, they've been denying it. It's here. We all know it. And because of that, interest rates have been on a rise in the last few weeks. So if you have any inclination of refinancing, you'd better do it now before interest rates start to spike up. In the next few months, probably by March, the government is going to start doing their tapering, which means that little by little, they're going to stop buying mortgage-backed securities, and that also is going to increase interest rates. So make sure in the next few months, if you're looking at buying or selling, get with your real estate agent or call us if you need to help us refinance your house. So, but without further ado, we want to introduce our my good friend, Nayeli Ballesteros. She is a financial strategist. Welcome, Nayeli.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be on your show.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Cool.
you.
So what I wanted to do is, I've known you for a few years, and we always talk about finances and financial planning, and wanted to introduce the audience to what you do. I know you've been doing this for 10 years, and what got you into the financial planning?
Financial industry. Yeah, actually, it's been a lot longer than 10 years, but 10 years really serving the clientele in the tax deferred and retirement planning area. But what got me into it was really the invitation to where I was serving as a director in corporate America, and really just exposing the corporation, exposing all of the abilities and all of the opportunities that a business owner has once they actually have a corporation. And so I didn't know that I myself had my own business back when I was, a baby, 20 years old. And I had no idea the amount of opportunity that a business owner has in terms of tax deferring and savings and just really ways to save on taxes. I had no idea. I didn't even have a CPA back then. I remember just doing my taxes with just the local tax person. And so, yeah, that's really when I came into corporate America and was in the board of directors, I was exposed to all of these opportunities. And I thought, this is where I need to be, especially for my, business owners, Latino clientele. I mean, it's so important to get educated and really, make the right moves when it comes to your business, because that really is what determines, right, a successful business or an unsuccessful business. So
yeah, one of the things that we always deal with are in our clients. Our clients, we have a lot of self-employed clients, real estate agents as well are self-employed. So
right.
One of the things that we fail in looking at are financial avenues, right? All we want to do is just either put money in the bank or spend it, right? There's really no, fortunately, my company has a 401k at least, or deferred comp plan. But real estate agents or a lot of people that are self-employed don't know about this. So I think it's super important for them to reach out to a financial expert, right?
Right. And it's funny you say that, because I mean, every single year we're into a generation where business owners are just growing, right? I mean, if I give you statistics, just in 2021, there was a 70% increase in new businesses being formed. Wow. That's 70% increase. Why? Because just your regular W-2 for a lot of Americans is not enough, right? It will not suffice for retirement and even just for your living, your daily living. So there is a huge amount of increase on business owners, 70% just in 2021 alone. So with that, with the growth of this new era that we're going into, with just business owners growing by, extreme population, we need the education to be able to, guide these businesses the right way. And a lot of the individuals that are forming businesses, they're not doing it correctly if they don't have the right CPA or the right tax or the right financial strategist or anything, they're not, a lot of the times they're not doing it correctly. They're leaving a lot of things that, on the table where they can actually form the right, even, I mean, just starting with the entity, right? Just the entity alone. A lot of times I'll sit with a business owner and they've been dealing with entities that are not necessarily serving their business. So with that alone, it's just, the right way to structure your business. You have to meet with a financial expert. You have to meet with a CPA. You have to be able to start your business correctly so that it doesn't hurt you down the line.
Right. One of the things I think we talked about before also was how it's super important to get different avenues of income, right? Stocks, 401k, real estate. I mean, real estate is huge. I mean, if you would have purchased a house just 2 years ago, you'd have maybe about, $100,000 in the bank just from the equity of the property increasing. The last couple of years, the increase, I think last year alone, it's increased 18%, which is a little bit higher than where we want it to be. But even on a slow market, it's usually about 5 to 7% increases in value. But 18% is crazy.
Right, right. I mean, and you're seeing that all across. I mean, you're seeing that all across in all aspects of someone's portfolio, right? Just not just on the real estate side, but also you're seeing it on the stocks and the mutual funds. So we had a very good 2020. A lot of people weren't expecting that, right? When COVID hit, everybody was just like, "What's going to happen?" And you're in the real estate market. A lot of realtors and mortgage professionals were thinking, "What is going to happen to our industry?" But just in a matter of a few weeks, it just totally flipped, right? And we saw the greatest increase all across business owners. I mean, I know most of my business owner clients had their best year in 2020. Yeah. So same thing for the real estate market, right? We had homeowners that were just blooming and investors blooming in the real estate market, and we're still there, right? So, but just like your introduction, you said, I mean, with the inflation and everything happening, there are some adjustments coming forward and coming our way very soon.
Yeah. So, can you give us a little bit more of information on like the tax deferred type of business that people can look into?
Yeah, so that's so again, yeah, that's really what made me dive into this industry. I specialize on helping business owners, the W-2 employee as well, but I mean that's the business owners is dear to my heart just because I love guiding them and giving them the opportunities to stabilize their investments in the right portfolios. And so when it comes to tax deferred options, there's a lot of business owners that are leaving a lot of money in the table. And what I mean by leaving it on the table is not their table. They're giving it over to Uncle Sam and everybody. There are two things, right? You always hear what's certain in life. It's two things: death and taxes. We pay taxes all the time, right? You make it, they tax it. You spend it, they tax it. You die, they tax it. I mean, we're taxed all the time. So, finding ways to save on these taxes is very crucial. And I'll meet with business owners that are paying thousands and thousands in taxes. And we have to pay our taxes. We get it. But if we can find opportunities to defer some of those taxes and not have the highest tax bill, and at the same time grow and invest that money, why not, right? It's more diversification to our portfolio and what we're doing with our investments. So there's tax deferred options are unique for every single business owner. You have the solo entrepreneur, you have the corporations, you have the LLCs and different entities. So different entities have different opportunities. But one of the things that I always tell my clients is, if they've started a business and they're still not an entity, meaning they're still filing their taxes as solo entrepreneur, they're also losing a lot of money, right, when it comes to their taxes. And we're going into tax planning now, which is I don't like to step on that too much. That's really my CPA's job. But this is the conversations I have with them, doing it so much with them. It's something that we definitely touch on. But yeah, there's so much opportunity for a business owner to take advantage. I mean, I'll give you an example. Just the minute you become an entity, you can take advantage of setting up your own plan. You just mentioned it. You have a 401k plan with your company. Right. You're limited, right, as a W-2, what you can contribute. It's $19,500 if you're under the age of 50, and then it's $26,000 if you're over the age of 50. Mm-hmm. The government has now increased that for 2021 a whole $1,000. So I know, but anyways, you're limited, and so now, but if you now have your corporation, you can set up the plan for yourself, and so now not only are you contributing the employee deferral, but you're also doing the contribution from the business, right? So now you have the ability to contribute, triple that amount if you wanted to, if you had the need to defer that money, and also if you wanted to save for your retirement as well. So those are opportunities that we forget that are there for us. And so the business owner, there's a lot of business owners that are looking to defer larger amounts of dollars. They just don't have the right structure in place. So just a simple thing like that for a business owner, they can defer, if they want to do just a profit share loan, they can do 58,000. If they want to do their own pension plan, they can do that as well. So we have the ability as a business owner, as a corporation, to set up our own pension plans. Pension plans are non-existent now, right? I mean,
yeah,
we were lucky if our parents still had a pension plan, but they're non-existent. I mean, there's a few corporations that are actually offering that. They really don't exist anymore. But we, as business owners, as a corporation, we can set up our own pension plan, which means that if we want to have a specific benefit for a certain, like let's say I want to set up my pension plan at age 65, I want to actually receive a specific dollar amount. I have the ability to set up that plan myself. And so something that, it's not an option when it comes to your employer. You don't have that option. You can't say, I want to be able to receive this dollar amount by the time I'm 65 or by the time I'm 70. You can't choose that. But as a business owner, you can set up these types of pension plans.
very nice. Now, one of the things that, like, I just found out that we actually have a deferred compensation here at our company. I didn't know I didn't know much about it, but I just realized that there's no limit on a deferred comp, right?
There is no limit. There is no limit on a deferred plan for the business owner.
Mm-hmm.
So for the employee, you have a limit for the comp, because again, you have the 19,500. You're talking about the W-2s, right? The employees.
Right.
You have the 19,500, and then that's really it. And then if you're over 50, the 26,000. But as an employer, you don't have a limit. So the employer could also give their employees an additional benefits, which then you can also have, an additional, like let's say an additional 25% on your comp. But that's dependent on the employer wanting to do that for the employee. So did I answer your question? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes,
yeah. So
thank you.
the employer doesn't have a max. I mean, I have business owners deferring up to $260,000 a year. So just by telling you that, you can imagine the tax bill that they actually have. And so prior to setting up a plan like this, that's an additional $260,000 they were sending over to Uncle Sam. But instead, now they're deferring it for themselves, and now they're growing that as well. So
yeah. And the good thing is that setting up a corporation isn't that expensive. I mean, I've set up corporations with under $1,000.
right. And so, yes, that's not expensive. I think the key here is really to get the correct advice on what type of entity you want to set up, right? So like, that's what I mentioned earlier. I'll sit with business owners that have been, just to give you an example, been filing their taxes under an LLC, right? And they could have been saving a lot of money if they would have been, filing through an S corp. Just to give you a quick example. And again, this is CPA territory, but those are things that they don't know. Why? Because they just heard, oh, set up an LLC. They went to LegalZoom and they set up an LLC, and then they go and they file their taxes with the tax guy in the corner, and the tax guy in the corner that doesn't know. He's just going to get your LLC and just going to be like, okay, cool, you have an LLC. Let's just do your taxes.
You just file it. Yeah.
There's no planning. There's no advice. There isn't anything like that. And so even that, you have to meet with the right people, and people sometimes don't want to pay the CPA or the financial expert because they don't want to spend money on that, but they could be saving thousands of dollars just by getting the right advice. So yeah, even the entity, it comes down to the entity. It's super important to file the correct entity, and those can be changed, for people out there that have an LLC or have a different types of, and they're getting scared right now thinking, oh my God, I'm under the wrong entity. That can always be changed. Again, you have to go to the right CPA, the right expert, to be able to give you that guidance. Mm-hmm.
Right. Absolutely. Now, one of the things too that we wanted to discuss is home mortgage protection. I have a lot of clients that as soon as we close their loan, they want to be protected if something were to happen to them. They want to make sure that the mortgage payment is still paid. And now this is something that you offer as well, right?
Correct. So the home mortgage protection So important. I think that's actually how you and I met,
Yeah.
coming over to you and talking about home mortgage protection. It's essentially a life insurance that we're utilizing for the homeowner, right? So the homeowner will buy a home, will purchase a home. It's usually more traditionally a 30-year loan. And
Mhm.
so what happens is the type of life insurance that is now offered has something what we call living benefits. And so the living benefits allow you to actually tap into that death benefit, which means you don't have to die to have your actual life insurance benefit, right? And so,
Yeah.
and let's say I purchase a home from you, and now I'm in a 30-year mortgage. Anything can happen in those 30 years, right? I can, God forbid, develop cancer, have a heart attack, go through a stroke, lose
Mhm.
2 activities of my daily living. If anything like that happens, I now have, now I'm worried about how am I going to pay my mortgage? Am I even working? Am I not? How much do I have saved? And so these types of mortgage protection policies would allow me to tap into that. So if I purchase $1 million policy, I
Mhm.
now can get a percentage of that $1 million. And really what we see is that the client continues to live and continues to just focus on getting better, and nothing gets disturbed financially. They're still paying for their home, they're paying for their car, their kids are still going to school, and nothing is disturbed. And that's the biggest perk and the biggest blessing when it comes to a home mortgage protection. There are so many I'm in the industry, so I see it all the time. Families that did not have a home mortgage protection, and now the dad or the dad being the breadwinner in a lot of cases, sometimes cannot pay the mortgage anymore if he suffered any of these health issues or illnesses. And
Mhm.
now they're having to move, or they're having to borrow money, or they're having to tap into their retirement savings. So it's a lot of disturbances that come if you don't set up the right protection for a home mortgage. And it's the easiest thing. It's super simple, super inexpensive. It's just setting it up.
Now, is it expensive? I know that's one of the questions that a lot of clients were always asking me.
It's not expensive. It's the most inexpensive way to get coverage, which is really, like I said, we're utilizing a term policy, and it's a
Mhm.
life insurance. There is so much opportunity to even now insure somebody that has already an illness or is older.
Mhm.
So it's the most inexpensive way to get coverage. And so as soon as you close your mortgage, you should be looking into that. And the truth is that a lot of these clients do get bombarded with these types of mailers for income
Mhm.
protection. But again, they need to meet with the specialist. They can't just sign a paper, because a lot of the times they don't actually have the correct income protection for their mortgage. I think you and I talked about it the other day. One of my clients, she was very devastated. Her father-in-law always gave them a hard time about life insurance, and kept saying, get life insurance, get life insurance. He had 4 policies. He
Mm.
just recently passed away. None of the policies are actually paying out. The
Wow.
thing What happened is, and again, he didn't know what happened, is that he purchased all the policies that he purchased were accidental policies, which means that the policy will only pay if you die in an accident, and not if you died in an accident, you had an accident, you went to hospital and you died. No, they only paid if you died at the time of the accident on
Wow.
impact. So even some of these companies are very sneaky on the way they put the small writing. And so if the
Mhm.
client doesn't know and doesn't understand, he's just signing it and thinking, oh, I have a benefit of $500,000. And so it's really sad. He had the policies for years, and now none of them are actually paying out. So again, it's so important to meet with a professional. Shop around. I always tell this to everyone when I do videos. I always say, shop me around if you need to. Just shop around and really sit with the right information, and just get the financial literacy that you need. Right.
Right. Right. And that's why you need a financial strategist like you.
Right. Correct.
Yeah. And
Correct.
then, yeah. So one of the other things, okay. History of being a business owner. That was
The
one of the
his
things.
the history.
Yeah.
Oh, my history of being a business owner.
Yeah. I know
Oh,
that probably we should have talked at the beginning, but I know you said that you were in corporate America, and
I
then you got
was.
into the financial industry.
I was. Well, I mean, like I mentioned, I think I did talk about it at the beginning. I had my own business when I was very young, very successful business, and I knew nothing about, the industry, financial literacy, nothing. And so, as it grew and left the business, I actually went into corporate America. In corporate
Mhm.
America, I was exposed to all of the amazing opportunities that business owners have for planning, tax planning, deferring their money, their income. So I think one of the things that I did that we did talk about before we set this up was the wealth transfer that we're dealing with right now. Right.
Right.
So we did talk about that, and that is one of the biggest things right now that I'm focusing, because there's 75 million baby boomers out there ready to retire. And so in fact 2020 we had a huge increase of baby boomers retiring just because of COVID alone. And so what's happening now, because we have that huge wealth transfer, we need to be able to offer guidance to our seniors on how to protect those funds that they took 30-40 years accumulating. And so that's super super important right now. So anyone out there that has their mom retiring, close to retirement, for those young kids tuning in, they have their grandparents that they know they're about to retire, it's super important to have them meet with a professional to really protect their funds and really allow them to still grow their funds while they're in retirement, right? Because we have the ability to set up plans for our seniors when they're retiring, to set them up for lifetime income. And a lot of them are not aware of that. So that's really what we're focusing on right now, just, the wealth transfer that's happening. And so we're dealing with a lot of issues when it comes to retirement, Social Security being one of them, right? So it's being called now social insecurity. The thing is, the thing is that there's not a lot of people paying into it, and now that we have the baby boomers retiring, that's even less of a percentage of people paying into Social Security. So really, people ask me all the time when I meet with them, when we talk about Social Security, what do you think it's going to disappear? What do you think is going to happen? I don't think it'll ever disappear. I think there'll be adjustments. And with those adjustments will be a reduction of benefits. And so that's why it's so important to really sit with someone and do the retirement planning, because we look at all of that when we meet with a client. We look at their Social Security, we look at where they're going to be, we look at what they've accumulated, we really look at their age, we look at everything as a whole to be able to set them up for success when it comes to retirement. And for those baby boomers now, and those people retiring this year or next year, super important to meet with someone to be able to say, hey, we need to protect those funds as soon as possible and be able to set them up for lifetime income for you.
Right. And do you work with any living trust attorneys? Because I know
I
I'm
do.
always getting calls about, I just got one yesterday.
I do. So part of my team is CPAs and trust attorneys. Those are we three walk around hand in hand, because we can't be without each other. The CPA needs me, I need the CPA. The trust attorney needs us, we need them. And so those are the three major pillars when it comes to a retirement plan. We need the CPA, especially for a business owner. We need the CPA. We need the financial strategist, and we need the trust attorney. So yes, I have a group that I work with, and so yes, I'm always available to give and refer those professionals to you.
Okay, cool. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have clients all the time, and it's so important to have a living trust. This just happened this week. I had a client that, I don't know why they did this, but they actually added their grandkids to the title of a property, right?
Oof.
Uh, which normally is not a big deal, but we found out that the grandchildren are 4 years old and 5 years old. So
Oh
that's
my
one thing you
gosh.
do not want to do, is add children that are under
Right.
18
Right.
to title on a property, because now we have to hire an attorney, or they're going to have to hire an attorney in order to get a court order to remove the children, because they're not able to refinance. It's a disaster now. So
Right.
it's something that they didn't know. They just thought it was something easy to do, and now it's going to be costly for them. So it's super
Right.
important to make sure that you reach out to experts, not just
Right.
the notary that thinks they know it all.
Right, exactly. And that's exactly right. Now they're going to spend more money, right? Because they didn't sit with a professional. Maybe they didn't want to pay, $1,000 or $1,500 to set up get the right advice, or the right setup. And so now it's going to cost them even more. So yeah, it's so important to just, start off right. If you need to go ahead and save a little bit of money to start the formation correctly by meeting with your CPA, your financial expert, your trust attorney, do it, because it's going to save you thousands and thousands of dollars in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah, you think you're saving money up front, but you're not. You're actually going to end up spending more at the end. And that happens in real estate. I just had a client 3 months ago, decided he was going to go with somebody else because he was less expensive than us. And he just called me this week, same thing. He's like, I messed up. I should have stayed with you. I spent all kinds of money, and they can't
Yeah,
even close my loan. And now I'm back. So it happens.
there is.
Reach out. You have to reach out to the experts, reach out to a
Right.
lender, reach out to a real estate agent that you can trust. Just be careful with these people that you find online.
Right. There was a saying and that my mom used to say all the time, and it's always on my mind. It's in Spanish, so for our Spanish listening audience,
Uh-huh.
she used to say "Lo barato sale caro," and now it just makes so much sense to me. And I'm always like, "That's right,
Yeah.
lo barato sale caro." You go the cheap route, or you
You got to
don't
pay
want to
more.
pay for the right advice, or and then here you are paying thousands later. So
Very true. Very
yeah.
true. All right. Well, thank you very much. I know we covered a lot of things today. If you have any questions in regards to financial strategy, make sure you guys reach out to Nayeli Ballesteros. Her information is going to be at the end of this call. But or you just reach out and I'll go ahead and forward you her information. But thank you so much, Nayeli, for being on the show. I got a lot of notes here. I know we're always talking about strategies, and I look forward to picking your brain even more.
Thank you. I know we try to fit in as much as we can, but I know, it's impossible. Like you said, we're always chatting and we're talking about different strategies. So super important for the business owners out there in W2 just to reach out and be able to get some good sound advice.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining. We'll talk
Thank
to you
you. It
later.
was a pleasure.
So one of the reasons why I wanted to have Nayeli on the show is because it's 2022 in a few weeks. So what better way to starting off the 2022 with the right mindset, right? Make sure that you save money, make sure that you reach out to experts, make sure that you find the financial strategist that'll help you save as much money as you can for 2022. I know my biggest thing was saving as much money as I could and also paying off all my debt. I want to make sure that when I do retire, I have no debt, and I have plenty of money to keep me going for the rest of my life, and also leave some money left over for my family, for my kids. So make sure you guys reach out. But thank you so much. One of the last things I wanted to talk about, because of course this is What's Cooking SoCal. Please mark your calendars. April 30th in the city of Ontario, we're going to have a cooking event. It's called Operation Smoke Ring. It's our second annual barbecue event. So hopefully you guys can reach out, come out and have some good barbecue. But I'll go ahead and post more stuff about it, and we hope to see you guys, and you guys can try some of my barbecue soon. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully you guys can come to the next one as well. And you got good information on today's episode. We're going to put my information down below. If you have any questions that I can help you with, or if you have clients that we can help as well, please reach out to us. If you want any information on our special guest, their information is also going to be below, or just shoot me an email and we'll send that over to you. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys at the next one. Take care.